Hello and welcome to Messing About with Models with me, John. I hope you all had a good Christmas and New Year, and I know I did. And so today I'm looking at the new Hornby 2022 range that's just been announced. What are my personal highlights and what are sure to be the most popular models? To dive straight in, the front cover of the catalogue shows off the new tooled Class 91, first announced back in 2020. While there have been a number of delays, it seems that there's been some upgrades to the specification been made, and two new models in the LNER Flying Scotsman livery and the Virgin Trains Battle of Britain Memorial livery. In keeping with the modern image East Coast Main Line theme, there's new Class 801 train packs for LNER, along with coaches to extend your existing sets up to the full 9 coach. They're also available for the Great Western Class 802s. For me, however, the standout highlight has to be the arrival of real steam and sound locos. If you saw the Hornby Model World TV series on the Yesterday channel last year, you will have noticed the development of the technology, so it might not come as a surprise. But it's arriving much sooner than many people thought, and it looks absolutely brilliant. Needless to say, one of the first locomotives to get steam treatment is the Flying Scotsman, in its current guise as 60103. This will have a recommended retail price of £273, which is not bad when you consider that includes sound as well, presumably TTS sound. Also available will be the Gresley P2 loco, Prince of Wales. The real thing is currently being built by the same people who built Tornado. But the third of the trio of steam and sound locos is the one that really stands out for me personally, and that's Stania Black 5 locomotive number 44726 in BR lined black. But this is no ordinary model of the LMS locomotive. It's an all newly tooled version of it, which was seen almost everywhere from Bournemouth to Inverness. Simon Kohler of Hornby has described this as the ultimate model, with many details to allow all the variations amongst the 842 members of the class to be modelled. The model will also come with a flickering firebox and working headlamps, and that has required the use of a 21-pin decoder socket, for which Hornby are now producing a 21-pin decoder. But the biggest surprise for me, after all the online reaction to the recent price increases, is the price of this brand new Black 5 with steam and sound. Just £250 at RRP. When you factor in the inevitable discount, you should be able to pick this up for £225, and at that price is amazing value. If I were you, I'd place your order now. They're sure to sell out. Of course, there are also other locos available with the new Black 5 tooling in both LMS and BR liveries. For some years, as new units have been rolled out across the rail network, the model manufacturers have struggled to keep up. That's changed this year with Hornby announcing new models of the Stadler Flirt trains produced for Greater Anglia. Coming in 3 and 4 car versions, with the 3 car version priced at £364. Again, while that sounds steep, it's actually cheaper than the recent Bachmann 3 car Class 159 DMU. There's no details on specification of the new Hornby model, but I would imagine it's to the latest standards. One thing I found refreshing about Hornby's presentation was the honesty about past mistakes. Well, some of them anyway. This came across best in talking about the next release, the 4VEP Southern Region EMU. When this first came out about 10 years ago, it was built during the so-called design clever phase that Hornby was going through, and actually had a number of drawbacks. It received quite a bit of criticism, not just online but in the modelling press as well. However, there have been calls for a new version to be made, and it's been a major part of the southern commuter scene for nearly 50 years. Well, it seems that Hornby have now taken on board those criticisms, and in this model have rectified them. Again, £363 might seem a high price, but it's for a 4-car unit, and the older model's been changing hands for silly money on eBay. Hopefully none of you invested in them. It's available in the Network South East livery with the Stagecoach branding, representing the units as they were in the late 1990s, and also in Southern Trains green, although I think only one unit ever carried that livery. I think it's a pity they didn't go for more popular liveries like the full Network South East or the BR blue and grey. One of the most popular releases from last year, the 4 and 6 wheeled coaches, have some more liveries produced this year. There's the ever-present Great Western Railway ones, some more London South Western Railway ones, and new this year, some in Somerset and Dorset Joint Railway Prussian Blue. I don't know if any of you saw Callum Wilcox's video on his SDJR887F channel, but he repainted some into this complex livery. They looked absolutely amazing, but now us mere mortals can have some too. There's also some BR departmental liveries too, including a generator van in BR blue and grey. I'm sure there's a prototype for that one. Let me know down in the comments. None of these will be available as standard with the lighting system that Hornby introduced last year, but it is still available separately for you to fit. Apparently there's been some health and safety issues, and I can understand why, with the thought of young children accidentally swallowing the button-sized batteries. The 4-wheel coaches are also available in another livery, but this time in a pack with one of Hornby's terriers. And it's a livery I don't think it's ever appeared in model form before, the Isle of Wight Central Railway. Number 11 Newport was the first terrier to arrive on the island, being bought from the London, Brighton and South Coast Railway for £600 back in 1902. You can currently see it in steam on the Isle of Wight. It's been paired in this train pack with 3 4-wheeled coaches in the Isle of Wight Central livery, and some parts of that look very intricate. I'm sure that'll be really popular with all those pre-grouping fans and those who model the Isle of Wight. Hornby of late have been doing some very unique locomotives that you would think on the face of it have a limited appeal due to their short lifespan or limited models. An example was the Gresley P2 I mentioned earlier. This year is no exception. It's been speculated about online for a bit, but 2022 is the year Hornby will bring out the Stanier Turbo Motive. Sir William Stanier of the LMS built this unique loco to test out the use of a steam-driven turbine in locomotive use, after they'd proved themselves quite efficient in marine use. Although there was some savings in coal, the efficiency of a turbine was not great enough to offset the additional cost in constructing it, and the experiment was never repeated. Hornby are producing it in both LMS Crimson livery and in early BR lined black. The prototype was destroyed in the 1952 Harrow and Wealdstone rail crash and was replaced by BR with the also unique standard 8P Duke of Gloucester that Hornby also made a few years ago. I think this will fly off the shelves. My eldest boy's already said he wanted it in LMS Crimson. Last year, Hornby announced they were producing a model of the Liverpool and Manchester Railway locomotive Lion, which appeared most famously in the 1953 film The Titfield Thunderbolt. We now have details of the full range of models as part of a new Trains in Film series. There is some controversy as Rapido Trains also announced their intention to model this locomotive as part of an exclusive deal with the owners of the rights to the film, Studio Canal. Looks like the lawyers will be getting involved in that one. In other areas, Hornby are expanding their range of rolling stock with the Beatles livery. While I'm not sure many modelers would be buying these, they are apparently very popular with collectors. There's some people that will just buy anything and everything that has the Beatles logo written on it. At first I thought the use of a Class 73 loco in the Beatles singles pack was a bit strange, till I remembered Merseyrail had a couple of these in their later years, so it's not that tenuous a link. There's also more Coca-Cola themed products to help expand the Coca-Cola sets. including a Class 121 railcar in the distinctive red and white livery. I don't think it looks too bad, and actually reminds me of the 121 that was in the bright yellow British Telecom livery in the 1980s. Let me know in the comments below if you remember seeing that one too. Following on from the recent nostalgia of the centenary year, there's also 2 Triang-themed train sets. One including the Great Western Lord of the Isles, and the other the Crash set, featuring a working breakdown crane. The locomotives have been updated and are actually DCC ready. There's also more of the die-cast Hornby 00 models too, although I was expecting to see a version of the 00 Castle locomotive or the rebuilt Bullied Light Pacific that Hornby had made back in the 1960s. These new models are all available in very limited numbers, and if last year is anything to go by, will sell out very quickly. I appreciate the desire to keep them strictly limited, but an increase in run to 1,000 units would have been nice, so that some of the rest of us could have had a chance to buy one. Also available are some models exclusive to either the Hornby website or to the so-called Tier 1 retailers. If you want to model the biomass trains to Drax Power Station, for instance, you'll need to order your wagons from one of those stores. There's so much more in the range. There's also additional buildings for play trains, additional coaches. There's also new Mark III coaches tooled to go along with the HSTs. And I think it's really a case of something for everyone this year. Let us know which models have caught your eye in the comments below. And please like this video to get YouTube to share it with as many modelers as possible. If you want to keep up with the various modelling projects I'm planning for 2022, please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. I hope I'll finally get round to detailing Smokey Joe, and I'll be starting to build a new train set for my 2 boys. So if you're thinking of doing something similar, stay tuned. Of course, there's also the latest happenings on Loch Doon. So, goodbye, and see you in the next one.